In 2012, London will host the Paralympics. New Zealand's cycling team are looking sharp and expectations are high for a swag of medals.
So the pressure was on to gain crucial qualifying points at the UCI World Cup in Sydney.
Berto, ficamos joelho.
New Zealand!
This event is a World Cup and it's one of the qualifying events that we need to attend.
Oh, I'd absolutely love to go home with a medal.
It's a reasonably important event for the cycling calendar.
Yeah, this is great. I want to keep this going until at least London.
It's all about points for New Zealand to qualify for the Paralympics.
I'm not the strongest cyclist out there yet, but I've got the potential and I've got the time to develop.
A bit nervous.
Yeah. Always really nervous. Yeah.
I'm going to go into this race, as I go into all of my races, confident that Sonia and I are going to put our utmost into it and we're going to come out with it with a medal.
Cycling is emerging as a team with strong medal potential for the 2012 London Paralympics. But before anyone is assured of a place on the New Zealand team, they need to prove themselves. 12 athletes are flying to the UCI competition in Sydney. This event is key. It's crucial that each athlete achieves sufficient points to qualify for the London Paralympics. The squad consists of 3 tandem cycle teams, with blind cyclists Rob Matthews, Philippa Gray and Jane Parsons, 3 solo cyclists, Nathan Smith, Chris Ross and Fiona Southern, and 3 hand cyclists, Sue Reid, Tiffany Perry and Samantha Eadie.
We got nicknamed Hooters on handbikes in Canada from Malcolm Hum, actually, who I'm sure you know, and it's kind of stuck.
It has, yeah. So it's nice to have our own team name.
Yeah.
Over the coming days, each team member will compete in a time trial and a road race. The event is crucial to determine how many athletes New Zealand will be eligible to take to London. It is also important for individual ranking. Essentially, they are racing for the team and for themselves. They travel with luggage, wheelchairs and dismantled bikes. Now they've got to put everything back together, not just in working order, but so that they're race ready.
I've probably been up to an hour in here, changing seat height, changing handlebar length, and just trying to make it as comfortable as possible and in a position where we've got good aerodynamics and can still put out good power.
Philippa Gray and her pilot Laura Thompson are the youngest tandem team and have a lot to prove.
Laura and I, we've only been together 5.5 months. We don't know each other well enough yet, but we're getting better and better as just experiences come along and stuff.
Philippa's disability is called Usher Syndrome 2, which is actually a hearing and a visual impairment.
My hearing impairment is a severe, moderate to severe bilateral neural sensory hearing loss, so gobbledygook. Basically, I've been deaf my entire life. I got hearing aids when I was 18 months old and have been wearing them ever since. And there's nothing that they can do to fix it. It's not going to get any worse, but it's not going to get any better, which is nice. But with my vision impairment, it's called retinitis pigmentosa. And so it's a degenerative disease, and I will eventually lose all of my vision.
Veteran cyclist Fiona Southern knows what she's up against. She's already a 2-time Paralympian, and she's reached the podium at an Oceania level.
The girl from Great Britain is world champion in every event that we compete in. She's like up there. So she's certainly very, very hard to catch, but the other 2 don't tend to be that far in front of me at times. So yeah, if I can get 1 or 2 of them would be great. I'm classified as C5 rider. Most of the athletes that I compete against have some sort of disability with one of their arms. Mine was from birth, and I don't know any different. If somebody gave me mechanical hand or fingers, I would not know what to do because I cope very well. Growing up with it, I haven't had to really adjust. I've just found things and did them my own way.
Being a bronze medalist, time trial and road race champion does not automatically qualify Sue Reed for the Paralympic team. A lot rides on how many UCI points she can earn.
If it's really rough road surface, you don't want too much. You might explode your tyres partway around. So smooth surface, you can really pump them right up.
Even though hand cyclists are new to international racing and the New Zealand paracycling team, Samantha Eadie already brought home silver and Tiffany Perry gold from the Oceania Paracycling Championship.
Well, Sue and I are in the same class because it basically goes from the level of where you had your accident, and we're in a class called H3, and Tiff's accident is a little bit higher up her spine, so she's in an H2. I was always competitive before my accident and always sort of need that, I don't know, outlet or something to do it, and this gave the opportunity. I mean, I was a runner and a cyclist before and a horse rider, and being able to get out in the outside world and yeah, you can ride with your family and your friends. Yeah, occasionally.
For me, like I really started, I didn't even know about hand bikes, but one of the women that I was working with was aware of them, and my accident was falling off a bike. And we had a very social biking group from work, and it was a real, it was a chance to be on my own, to get out and do things on my own and bike. I had no intention of being competitive, and then we did the round Taupo relay, which we'd always done with work, and during that time I passed a number of hand cyclists, and I thought, I won't be too bad at this.
I had a water skiing accident and always been sporty really, used to do speed skiing. Got into wheelchair tennis, went to the Paralympics with that, played a bit of wheelchair basketball, and just a progression from there really.
Nathan Smith missed out on a medal earlier this year, placing 4th in the World Track Championships in Italy. Here in Sydney, the competition will be even tougher.
So I'm an above knee amputee, so I have the choice of riding with no prosthetic leg and just using one good leg to propel the bike with no other crank, with only one crank. But when I was training towards that a couple of years ago, I was quite far behind the guys that have been doing that for years and years and years. And then when this new category came along, they said, well, you can go up a category and use a prosthetic leg, get to use 2 cranks, but you'll be competing against guys that are obviously going to have 2 legs and be a bit stronger. So I sort of enjoy the 2 cranks more. I'm a bit stronger than using 1 leg, and I can race more competitively. The prosthetic department down in Wellington built me this.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a carbon shell with a titanium knee unit. Like in comparison, it's hydraulic used for walking. We don't need that on a bike. It's just basically a free hinge. So all I use it for is just getting some weight down through the knee, and straight immediately into the pedal without wasting any energy by trying to push through a foot and then being able to pull up on the pedal as well.
The pressure is starting to build. 2 days before the race, and athletes must ensure that their bikes are assembled correctly before they can even focus on the race preparation. Damaged bikes further add to the stress levels of the athletes who are already on edge. Tandem pairing Philippa and Laura are worried. The damage to their bike keeps them from testing out the course. If their bike is not fixed in time, they can't race. If they can't race, they can't gain crucial qualifying points, which puts even more pressure on this young tandem team to perform at the next event.
Oh!
Are you going tough?
It goes anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, no, just come in. Just send us a text when you're done.
We'll see you in the lobby. For me, it's important that I actually get out onto the road so that I can get myself familiar with the area. See how many corners to the left and how many corners to the right, and just pick up little wee, like probably little notes in my mind where I know we go around to the left and there's a bump and you go over that bump and then you've got a little bridge, and which corners we can actually power out of and which corners we have to peg it back a bit on.
While the team are out testing the course, Philippa and Laura wait back at base. The support crew is out hunting for the essential spare parts.
It's generally how it goes, eh? So there's always something that's happened on the flight or when it was packed up last time, or, you know, so it's handy to have someone who's an expert, basically, eh? It pays for itself in the end. So we get to the start line and hopefully no dramas, touch wood, you know?
So we've just had to go and get loose bearings, and basically we'll just have to pack them with grease and just set the loose bearings on the bottom of the headset steerer. So it's the next best option. So hopefully mission accomplished, but we'll see in about half an hour.
Rob Matthews, a 7-time Paralympian and multiple medalist runner, is a novice at cycling. He recently teamed up with high-performance cyclist Justin Kerr.
You go to a big event like this and you see people that have been riding together a lot, like the Italians and Canadians, and they just look fluid and natural, and it just comes with time on the bikes.
I've only been riding competitively, I suppose, for maybe as much as 18 months. Before that, I was an athlete. I was a runner. Yeah, I'm still learning. So I'm still, you know, I'm getting fitter quicker than JK is.
Novices, yeah. All right, jump on, mate. Don't want to embarrass you.
When I was a runner, you know, you'd be running maybe eyeballs out, you know, flat out, 3 days a week, maybe 4. Whereas on the bike, you can do much more than that. And we're doing 8 times 4 minutes, which basically means you're going flat out, you know, real big burn for 4 minutes. Then you have a 4-minute recovery and do it again, and you can do it again. Whereas running, you'd have to really measure your effort over the whole session.
Jane Parsons has had 4 pilots over her 5 years of competitive cycling. She has now teamed up with 2-time Olympic rower and time trial cycling champion Sonia Waddell.
Myself personally, I wanted the best of the best. I didn't want to go backwards. So Paralympics has stepped up, and their athletes that are coming in as pilots are the best.
Being totally blind means Jane has to train on the wind trainer when she can't train with her pilot.
This afternoon, Sonia's arriving, and her and I are going to get on our magic speedy machine and get out there and have a ride together, and it's going to be great. She'll love it.
After I've finished, like coming down from a good hard session and sprints, like my eyes get really, it's like before you're going to faint and everything seems real clear, and it's like, it's hard to explain, it's like little dots and little flicks of light.
Do you feel dizzy?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. And that's why I like to just really spin.
Yeah.
Put it in and just spin, yeah. Right. That's me.
You done?
Done. I'll go over and have a recovery now. Thanks for that.
It's all right.
Oh,
I'm on the wrong side.
That's good.
Finally, Laura and Philippa's tandem is fixed.
Yeah, I mean, basically what's happened is the bottom part of the steering is missing the bearing. So what we've had to do is just go get some loose bearings, pack this into the back in here so they can actually steer. Without the bearing, you can't even ride the bike. I mean, it's only a $7 part, but without it, you can't ride. So.
Ready? Yeah.
Philippa's eyes are continually deteriorating. It's disorientating for her as she flips between periods of sight and periods of cloudiness.
Because there's just so much going on in your brain doesn't know what you're seeing, and then all of a sudden you're seeing, and then so I had to keep constantly adjusting for me all the time, and it puts a lot of stress on the eyes. And then also with my training, my vision will just go and it will just blank out, and then when that happens I just get so drained of any energy that I've got, because all my energy is going back to giving me vision and recovering. It makes it hard, and because it's kind of one of those things that you want to bite the bullet and not tell anyone that it's happened, because then they think that you're faking it and you're trying to get out of doing a hard effort or not. It's kind of one of those hard things that you kind of decide, do I tell the coach or do I just get on and do with it, or do I just no? Or do I just take 5 seconds and stand still and just hope like hell it comes back real quickly?
Today is the road race. It's a grueling challenge consisting of tight corners and excruciating hills.
It's going to work for you.
The morning of the race, the athletes are in the zone and they are starting to think about, preparing for their race and things like that. And it's probably not until the gun goes and they're down the road where the nerves sort of chill out a little bit, and the adrenaline's racing and they're into it.
Chris Ross is the youngest athlete in the team and new to road cycling.
I'm in what they call the C5, which is people that have an arm amputation, or I wouldn't say disfigurement, but some sort of impairment to their arms. So both their legs are generally fine. So it should go quite quickly, but makes quite a difference when you can't hold on. Cornering is what we find difficult, because you just can't hold on with both hands, and you've got one arm holding on most of the stuff, trying to go around, and starting as well, because starting in uphills, because other people, you've got two hands, so you can sort of work the bike, whereas we're having to just do it all with one.
Ready, guys?
Athletes from 18 nations are performing here. Events are run simultaneously, but the number of laps depend on your category.
And the road race is a mass start, but tactics come into it, and you get bad luck, you get bunch crashes and outside things happening, like team tactics or teams ganging up on individuals and things like that can influence your result.
As was the case for tandem pairing, Justin and Rob.
I had heard something was wrong, started putting the pressure on the pedals to accelerate, and basically the timing chain or synchronising chain just came off, which meant that Justin couldn't pedal or put anything into it. We were left with quite a chase to get back on the bunch, and so we basically, it took us maybe 18 kilometres, I think it was, to get back on. Justin gave the word, and went full throttle and came fourth after all that.
2 minutes to Connie, 2 minutes to Connie.
New Zealand brought home 2 silver medals from the road race and secured 3 solid 4th places.
That was pretty tough. First couple of laps I found that I was going into the corners a lot slower than the other riders, so tactically I had to get to the front of the bunch before each corners, and there's lots of corner sections, and I just ended up getting dropped on one of them and couldn't get back on.
How was it, Pilot? It was quite slow. There was no one wanted to do anything. Every time you wanted to just
sit there and save themselves, and it was pretty negative and slow.
We rode a really good race, and yeah, it would have been great to get gold, but we weren't far behind them, and I think if we hadn't been cut off, we would have taken gold.
Jane Parsons and Sonia Waddell, representing Philippa Gray, representing New Zealand.
I had a really great race. And the thing that was really neat for me was I teamed up with a woman from Slovenia. She was way faster than me on the hills, and I was faster than her on the flat. Between the two of us, I think we, 1, had a lot of fun, and 2, probably did a faster time than we would have on our own battling into the wind.
$15,000, which your family can spend as they wish.
Yeah, most of the recovery stuff we do is back at the hotel after the race and things. Muscles get a fairly good workout, riding and racing and things, so it's just to loosen them up and get the blood flowing through and hopefully help the muscles recover a little bit quicker.
It is a high performance sport, and the athletes that are here would have been athletes in their own right in other sports anyway, and it's that it's totally high performance in every way, from the equipment, from the way athletes conduct themselves, to how the events are managed and handled.
But I don't class myself as an athlete with disability. I class myself as an athlete with ability. And I've got the ability to carry on and to keep going and get stronger.
It's not over yet. Tomorrow is the time trial.
It's a flat course, and so the expectations coming here was that we do a really fast time. But having seen the course, I don't think the time will be really fast because of our bikes are quite heavy, so once you slow down and you have to go again, it takes a lot of energy, but it just takes a bit to get that speed up again.
Heavy and long, so cornering isn't
We don't corner well.
We don't corner well.
No.
We know that the Canadians are here, the world champs. Their pilot, Lynn Bissett, she's a world champion in her own right in able-bodied racing. She raced in the same era as Sarah Ulmer, so we know she's very good. Her stoker is relatively new to cycling, but she's excelled at other sports, so we know they're strong. We know the Americans are very strong.
And in 5th was 7 minutes and 4th.
It's the race of the truth. Like, everyone starts off in minute intervals, and everyone goes over the same circuit. Different categories have different distances to run, but it's a man against a man.
Despite being one of the fastest tandems, Justin and Rob again run into trouble when they slip on loose gravel.
You never like to crash, regardless of whether you're on a single bike or a tandem, but I think especially on the tandem there's a lot of trust building that goes on.
Fortunately, we're fine, just bruised egos, I guess. But we got back up on on a bike and get the UCI points for New Zealand.
At the T801 and are currently holding down the gold medal position. And that is a finishing time for Christopher Ross.
New Zealand again secured 2 solid 4th places, 2 bronze medals and a gold.
Yeah, I didn't think I could have got bronze today, but thankfully one of the British guys died on the last lap, so gave me that bronze, and then finding out I was only 0.1 of a second off silver, then I'm pretty stoked really. So.
In the first lap, I was probably slightly cautious with the turns, with the cornering. I wanted to first and foremost make sure we were safe, and then of course try and go as fast as possible.
Team did well in the competition. No, it was a good day. Like we had some really good performances.
I just hop on that bike with Sonia and I know every call and I respond really well with her. So, I mean, I leave all the technical things up to Sonia and I just respond when she needs me to respond, and I just make sure I put 100% in from the time I start to the time I finish.
In first place, the winners of the gold medals are Jane Parsons and Sonia Waddell, representing New Zealand.
Not until you're actually way over the line, you're safe and think, woohoo! Yeah.
That's 2 bronze, 2 silver and a gold. This team is looking fierce.
Later in the year, we'll bring the progress of other New Zealand athletes as they train and attempt to qualify for next year's Paralympics.
Next week, it's Father's Day. We felt it was time dads had their say.
It's really hard watching your kids in pain. You've created this child and, they're going through this.
He's just a little ball of cuteness, he's just... It just blindsides me.
Our fathers talk candidly about the highs and lows, the fears and dreams of being a dad to a kid with a disability.
They're part of geek culture that we all know.
Yeah, we all do seem to like sci-fi, don't we?
Yeah.
You don't want to miss this one. Attitude was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.